Welcome back to Beauty Bee. Today, in honor of Black Friday, I wanted to talk about everyone's favorite brand to never quite really break up with, Colourpop, and their gift sets. And more or less why I think most of them are pretty bad. What's new? In this video, I'm going to go through some of Colourpop's more excessive gift sets, as well as present a few different options that I think would scratch the same itch. Let's say they maybe dupe the vibes very roughly of the other Colourpop products, but they're smaller, they're less expensive, and at least in my mind, I think they're a lot likely to be far less wasteful than their larger counterparts. And as always, I don't really care what you do. I'm not judging you. I hope you're not judging me. Let's do this. So let's start out with some of their palette vaults. Now Colourpop is offering a rainbow palette vault, which is, I believe, the exact same vault they offered last year. I'll put a picture of that up. And it is $48 for 6 9-pan palettes, which I guess in the big scheme of things is not a terrible price per shade, but I don't understand who this would be a good fit for. Now, if you don't have a lot of Colourpop, or you don't particularly like color, why would you be buying this? But at the same time, if you do really like Colourpop and you are into colorful makeup, etc., I feel like you likely already own, if not these exact palettes, then something quite similar, something that you could probably get very similar looks out of. And it's not as though there aren't other rainbow palettes available, even from Colourpop, that would give you a lot less shades, because let's admit, 54 shades coming in all at once is overwhelming to think about, at least for me. I would get decision fatigue so quickly looking at 54 brand new shades and needing to decide what to use. And Colourpop has tons of other options. I mean, they've got their new rainbow palette, which I'll put a picture up. And I think it's kind of funny that after pushing this rainbow vault for a week really hard, they launched a rainbow palette. It's kind of awful, and it's a little bit manipulative, and I think I would probably feel kind of hurt if I'd actually bought it. I know I shouldn't. I mean, they're a business. They didn't put a gun to my head and force me to buy anything, but goodness, Colourpop knew what they were doing with that one, and it's fantastic to me. They also have, for like, the Misunderstood palette, which is more jewel toned, a little bit deeper, or the So Jaded, which has some really interesting, I almost want to call them like funky colors. Like, this isn't a grungy green, it's a funky green. And Through My Eyes has quite a nice variety of rainbow shades as well. The State of Play vault is in a very similar vein. This is a collection of 6 pastel palettes, which is a bit crazy to think that they have 6 pastel palettes to even put in a collection. But it gets even weirder when you think about the fact that you can just pick up the Cloud Dye collection, which is half the size. It's 3 palettes of 9 shades each rather than 6 of 9 shades, and get almost exactly the same looks. I mean, there is not a huge variety in some of these, in some of the rainbow palettes. Some of the Dream Big palettes, there is way less variety in the State of Play palettes. I mean, I think you could collapse that purple Lilac You a Lot into about 4 shades and really not lose anything. And as evidence, I submit the blue and purple palette from the tie-dye collection. It's so similar. And if you really do need just that little bit of pastel, just that little hit of it, you could look at something like their Candy Castle palette. It's got, I think, 10 shades. Let me check. Yes, 10 shades. It's much less expensive than the Vault is, and you would get a little bit of variety as far as pastels go without having, again, this huge influx of 54 new eyeshadows. Let's talk about one more set, the Into Bloom Palette Vault. Now this has two warm toned all matte palettes. There's the Sunflower one, which is sort of yellow mustard into brown, and there's the Big Poppy one, which, cute name, I'll give him that, but is more red orange, going from cream to brown. Now, that's kind of ridiculous that they have two separate all matte warm toned palettes, and I assume there are more on the way, because if there is one thing Colourpop is consistent about, it is not stopping, just going and going. I mean, looking across the palettes, there are some similar shades. I mean, the lightest shades and the darkest shades in each of them, I think, would come off almost identical on the eye. But the individual palettes are also quite redundant. I think you could take just every other shade in both those palettes and you wouldn't lose a whole. If you were interested, maybe you should look at the Ornate palette. It's got that yellow, it's got the red, so you're seeing the most interesting, to me, pops of color from the palettes in the duo. However, it's got some metallics, so I feel like you have a little bit more versatility, and it's one palette. It's 9 shades. It's not 18 pans, but really like 7 shades. Now, the other eye set that I thought was ridiculous is the Dreamery set. This is 9 Super Shock shadows, and 6 of them are warm neutrals, which I know that's kind of been Colourpop's thing for a long time, but that's a bit excessive. I've got to say, that's excessive. I assume if you are buying 9 of these for someone, that either you really like that formula or they really like that formula, wouldn't they probably own at least one of the 9 best-selling shades? That seems likely to me. Also, these dry up. They're a cream product. You're not going to be able to keep these forever, and they're not super easy to pan, so maybe a smaller set would be better. I was kind of looking at the Soak Up the Sun duo. It came out with the Sunflower collection. It's got a gold and sort of a taupe shade. It's very pretty, and there's 2, not 9. And I feel like this is still kind of a fun gift because it comes in the special box, and I really do like the special packaging that they came up with for the Sunflower collection. It's sort of a yellow plastic in place of the white, and it has little white sunflowers on it. Very cute. Now, Colourpop's lip sets are ridiculous. Who needs 40 lippy sticks? No one. That's insane, especially since there's only like 10 colors of lippy sticks, really. There's so much repeat in this set. And their smaller set is a bit silly as well. I mean, it's 19 lippy sticks. How is that a smaller set? And they're almost all nudes, I think. I think there's 1 pink, 1 or 2 vampy shades, and a couple of reds. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And I could say the exact same thing about the lippy pencils. I mean, just replace the word lippy sticks with lippy pencils, and you've got that segment. It's adding a lot of clutter, a lot of trash to someone's life without probably adding a lot of value. And it's kind of surprising to me that Colourpop does a relatively bad job, I think, of putting together these gift sets, because Colourpop comes out with sets all the time that I think are actually pretty good. I think that they do a great job of putting out little duos that people would be likely to enjoy, even, you know, trios or quads of lip products. I'll put up some pictures, like the Sailor Moon or the various luxe lipstick duos they've come out with. Every collection almost seems to have some lip duos in it. But when it comes to holiday, they want to put out these really big sets, and Personally, I mean, I don't have the budget to give one of these huge sets as a gift, but I also wouldn't want to give a set like this as a gift. I want to keep things feeling personal, and if I can give someone a duo of Mulan lipsticks because I know that they love red and Mulan, that would be such a better gift, I think, than giving them 30 lipsticks where there's 3 reds and a bunch of colors they'll never use. That just feels so much less personal and loving to me. Now, overall, I think the skincare sets are a little bit better than the makeup ones. However, I don't necessarily understand the motivation behind some of them. For example, why would you want 4 mini serums? Wouldn't it make more sense to figure out which serum specifically targets that individual or your, because let's admit it, a lot of these are not being sold to give to another person, they're being purchased for yourself. Why wouldn't you figure out which serum targets your skin specific needs and then buy one? Do you really need the trash of the plastic box as well as 3 other serums that are likely to not work as well for you? And the lip masks, who wants 3 full-size lip masks? Maybe I'm really conservative in how I apply them, but I think my tub of Vaseline, you know, the little tins that they come in, I want to say that lasted me at least 8 or 9 months of using it every night. And I didn't throw it away because I was finished with it. I threw it away because it got gross. How on earth are you supposed to finish 3 full-size lip masks before they go bad? Especially because I can't imagine that that is something that has an incredibly long shelf life. Those have to go bad at some point. I don't know how quickly they do, but they must. Now, Colourpop does have some skincare sets that make some more sense, at least to me. They've got some that target specific skincare needs, which I think is very reasonable. I'm not sure who wants to switch out their entire skincare routine with 3 new products at once, but I know there are people who do, and if that's you, all the more power to you. Okay, so I think I need to be done bashing Colourpop, at least for tonight. So to all my fellow Americans, I hope that your Thanksgiving was as nice as it could have been given the circumstances, and I hope everyone is having a really fun and more or less responsible Black Friday shopping experience. Hope you'll consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye!